What's up, boys and girls? It's your boy Johnny, aka Crew9t, and we're gonna let a few of you guys log in, get going. Let's see. See, a few of you guys are here already. It's a bit cold outside today. Alright. Can't tell if this... There we go. It's got a few people coming in already. Wait, let a few more people show up. So, I don't know how many of you guys are here from the United States, but for those of you who are, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. We actually had a busy Thanksgiving, but good, although it was extremely hot because I'm in Florida. It doesn't really feel like Thanksgiving when it's 90 degrees out. I remember when I was living in New York and it was actually like cold enough to wear a jacket. That was a nice Thanksgiving. Alright, I got One Leg Fangirl here, I got W2 here. One Leg Fangirl, hi, how you doing? W2, I hope you don't lose your signal soon. Krusty Zebra, that's a pretty good name. From Orlando, Florida. Although, I've lived in several places across the state, but born in Orlando and currently in Orlando. So, let's see. I don't like the angle. That's better. Alright. We got cold for me right now. Cold rain. That sucks, actually. I think I'd rather have the high humidity and the heat than cold rain. I don't know. We've got a lot of rain here lately, but actually the last couple days it's been kind of dry, but there was a lot of rain for about a week. But oh, W2 can't be having me lag. It's snowing in Toronto right now. Okay, see, that is something that makes me jealous because I miss the snow. Really funny story that makes me sound really stupid, but when I was 17, I played in snow for one of the first times. I had played in it when I was really young, but I did not know that snow was wet, which is really stupid, I know, because snow is just frozen water. But like on the movies or in TV shows, all the people would play in the snow, and then when they were done, they would just brush it off and they would be fine. And I played in the snow, and after 5 minutes I was soaking wet and freezing cold, and I was very confused. Why was I so wet? And everybody was looking at me like, because you're playing in frozen water, and I just couldn't understand it. But You don't know, Jane Doe. You don't know how or when you subbed to me. Well, I don't either, but I appreciate you being here. But no, for real, like, the TV shows, they always make it just look like the kid will lay down in the snow angel, well, in the snow and will make a snow angel, but, then they get up and they're perfectly fine and they're just like, ooh, brush the snow off, okay, let's go have fun. I got up from making a snow angel and I was soaking wet and I was shivering and I was like, what the hell, this is not what they make it look like. What advice do you have for writing about yourself? Try to make yourself look as good as you possibly can, but don't try to sound conceited, which is a little bit harder to do than you might think, because you want to be like, yeah, let's definitely put that in there because that makes me look good, but then they're like, oh, well, I don't want it to look like I'm bragging. I don't know, I don't like talking about myself. Whenever I'm doing a live video, it's fine because I'm just conversating, but like when I'm making a recorded video, I don't like talking about myself because I'm afraid I'm gonna make myself either sound too arrogant or sound too self-deprecating, deprecating, whatever, you know? So, yeah, see, some snow is dry. And that's what they were telling me. Apparently the snow I was in was just wet. I don't know, snow is snow to me because I'm from Florida, so I didn't know there was different types of snow, and some snow was this and some snow was that. I will say this, I wasn't having any luck trying to make snowball, like it wasn't staying together, but it was soaking wet. Then years later, only about maybe a year ago, it was earlier this year, so like 11 months ago, I was in snow in Georgia, and it was snowing on me, but I wasn't getting wet, although it wasn't a heavy snow. But I don't know. I don't understand snow, I guess. That's something that I'm just not able to grasp. W2, you are always here with me all the time. So if you lose connection, I'll let it slide this time. But thank you for being here for as long as you have been. I understand. Sometimes you just can't watch the Crew9t show. Jane Doe, from New York City, huge snowstorm on your birthday, November 15th. Your birthday just passed, happy birthday. And you're from South India? Wow. Well, that's pretty good. I didn't know my channel went that far. Well, then you're like me. Like, never snows in Florida. Actually, it snows sometimes in North Florida, but like very rarely, and it doesn't stick. So it wasn't cold enough snow, that's all it was. Haley, thank you for joining us. I see a few of you guys are here right now. I recognize a lot of these names, actually. So it looks like I got my regulars here. Krusty Zebra. Yes, everybody has plans tonight. It's to be here watching this. One Leg Fangirl says, I lost my leg to cancer. I have my prosthetic for a year now. How long did it take for you to get used to yours? And of course it's okay to ask. This is a question and answer session. Anything is okay to ask. There's nothing off limits. And if you do manage to hit something off limits, I will politely just ignore the question. I am a little, I don't want to say unusual, but that's, I guess, the best word for it. My healing process was a lot quicker than normal. So I actually got my first prosthetic just 10 weeks to the day from when I had my amputation. So that in and of itself was pretty quick. And then I actually put my prosthetic on the day they gave it to me, and I stood up and walked. I wasn't using the balance bars or anything, I just walked. Now I will admit I overdid it quite a lot. You're supposed to only wear it for a few hours that first day, at least that's what they were telling me. I wore it for like 17 hours straight, and no joke, by the end of the day I could no longer walk. I had to actually, we went to a restaurant to celebrate, and I had to get help walking back out of the restaurant because I pretty much couldn't use it again, and I overdid it so badly I couldn't wear my leg for like 3 more days. But once I put it back on again and then actually rationed myself out with it, I'd say a week, and I was fully functional with it. Like honestly, by a month I didn't even have a limp really anymore. Weird thing is now, years into it, I've been an amputee for 8 years, and now I have a slight limp, which it almost seems like maybe over time I've gradually picked up a limp, and then by continuing to walk with that limp and not doing anything about it, I've just like ingrained it that that's my new gait. But it's not even that noticeable of a limp, but it is there. But I did walk a lot quicker than a lot of amputees will. I don't know. I mean, for the first week though, I definitely walked kind of like robotically, and it took my prosthetic. Actually, no, not my prosthetist. It was my physical therapist telling me, "Don't walk like you have a prosthetic on. Walk like you have two legs." And that just clicked in my brain. And as like obvious as that might seem, it took having somebody say that to me to actually do it. And that was the key, actually. I feel like that was what helped me. Helium, hey crew, hey! How are you? Thank you for joining us. You remember when you subbed to me? When did you sub to me? I want to know now. And thank you, Nimaway. I'm very unusual. That's the benefit of being me. Holding up my sign for everybody, because if you follow me on here and not on here, then you're being a bad person. So follow me on here. Thanks for doing this live. John Peach 195, absolutely. I feel like doing these live videos is so much more beneficial to the channel, because this channel is supposed to be, I mean, part of it is just totally having fun, but part of it, and the main reason behind it, is to help other amputees and to just help people that need help in general, whether it just be inspiration or a physical problem that they have a question about. And I feel like being live and being able to interact back and forth is the best way to do that. It took you about 3 months to walk with a limp, but now you're steady with your gait. Okay. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm laughing because I'm thinking of myself. The falling every now and then because you forget you're missing your leg, I did that. I stood up from my bed, and about 20 years of having two legs overrode 2 months of not, and I stood up and completely forgot I didn't have my other leg, and I went straight down and broke my sutures back open again. This was before I even got my prosthetic. It sounds really funny, like how could you forget you lost your leg? But well, you know, I mean, it happens. I did it myself. So I didn't mean that, I wasn't laughing that you fell. It made me immediately remember the time that I did. But well, Jane, I'm glad you got your notification today. My notification today. Hey, it's your birthday today. How do you say Ade Helium? I'm just gonna call you Helium. Happy birthday. I'm glad that you're here with me on your birthday. I am plugging my Facebook because my Facebook was only brought into existence because my YouTube subscribers asked for it, and yet I only have a fraction of Facebook fans as opposed to the amount of YouTube subscribers. Do you still get ghost leg pains? Yeah, it's called phantom pain, and yes, I absolutely do get phantom pain. I get phantom pain, which is in the form of like zingers, where it just feels like a quick little like zinger. A rolling pain where it feels like it's being crushed. I get like a burning sensation. I get a shock sometimes, but then I also get phantom sensations, which those aren't necessarily painful, they're just weird or annoying. Those are like, I'll feel an itch that's obviously not there, or my toes will feel like they're crisscrossed, which that is actually annoying because you can't uncross them, so you just gotta wait till it goes away. Helix said, what is a baler and how did that amputate you? Which also reminds me, somebody said something about if they see a baler, they're gonna punch it for me, so thank you, whoever that was, you got my back. I appreciate it. What is a baler and how did it amputate you? Baler can be a piece of farm equipment. That's what a lot of people automatically assume. In my case, that was not what it was. The baler I was using was a recycling baler at a recycling plant to, at the time, bale cardboard. It also baled all sorts of other material. But that night, I was baling cardboard. What happened, I go into better detail in some of my other videos, but just a quick story was my machine jammed, and I was inside of it fixing it. Yes, I was supposed to be inside the machine. A lot of people are like, why did you go in there? Or other people just think I stuck my leg in there, but I fully was inside the machine. I went through the doorway. That was an entry port. You're supposed to go into the machine. I was the lockout tagout certified employee. I was the confined space certified employee. It was my job to go into the machine if the machine was broken. I was in the machine. It was locked out, tagged out due to some electrical issues. The machine started itself up while I was inside of it, and long story short, in the effort to get out, because it was coming to about here on me, it would have crushed me from here down and obviously killed me. I managed to get up above the compacting ram, but I just didn't get my foot fully out of the way, and it caught my foot, pulled it back down through, snapped it off, and then broke my leg at the shin and snapped that off. And then at the hospital to clean me up, they brought me up to just below my knee. But so that's the baler, and that's how it amputated my leg. And yeah, it was a interesting experience, to say the least. Fun fact, at the time that my machine was jammed, which is actually what I was fixing, was the machine was jammed. At the time of the jam, the song We Jammin' was playing on the radio, and I was thinking to myself how ironic that was. And then We Jammin' was continuing to play while I was screaming. And of course, she didn't hear the screaming, because by the time I called 911, I had cooled down and calmed myself down. But yeah, so now anytime the song We Jammin' comes on, it's a mix of emotions, from A, like, wow, to B, hey, wow, to C, wow. So, who's your favorite subscriber? It's this channel called Dog Toy Adventures. It's this weird guy who used a bunch of dog toys in stop motion and made them go all around the house. Um, I don't know. I don't know what happened to his channel. It's like he gave up on it one day. I don't know. You said you'd answer all the questions. You've probably already answered this, but how did you manage to stay so calm in your 911 call? I stayed calm in my 911 call mostly because it's hard to answer that one because there was a lot of stuff going on. Partially, I stayed calm just because I knew there was a necessity to be calm. If I wasn't calm, I wouldn't be able to convey any of the information that needed to be put out there. I was also calm because I was not medically in shock. Surprisingly, I did not go into shock, but I was just in shock, like just like for the figuratively, like, you know, I was in shock, like, I can't believe this happened, and I was just processing it. Medically, I was not in shock, which is a good thing because it means that I was able to coherently put out information. If you're in shock, a lot of times you can't put sentences together, but it was a bad thing because it meant that I felt everything. Whereas a lot of people assume that I was in shock and probably didn't feel very much of the pain. And yes, my body did block out a hell of a lot of the pain compared to what I would have felt if the endorphins and stuff hadn't kicked in. But because I wasn't in shock, I felt more than I would have felt if I was in shock. But when I say I was in shock, I just mean figuratively, like I was in shock. I also was just pretty much convinced. I mean, I was pretty sure I was going to die, and so it wasn't an issue of like freaking out. Oh my God, I'm gonna die! Like people might panic. I knew I was gonna die. At that point, I had accepted it. So it was more of just an issue of remaining calm and talking to them long enough to keep myself alive just until I was pulled out of the trash. I didn't want to die in trash. I was pretty sure I was going to die, period. So I wasn't really freaking out because I'd already accepted my fate. I just wanted to stay alive long enough to not die in the trash. As I got further into the call, I began to realize that I might actually have a chance to survive. And at that point, then I remained calm because A, I was already kind of past the point where I should have been freaking out. And B, at that point, I realized, you know, if I am going to live, I need to continue listening to what they're telling me, which means I can't panic. A lot of things just all played into place exactly how they needed to play into place for me to still be here, which, I mean, I'm very thankful and lucky for. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that I was like, oh, well, this sucks, let me just roll over. Like, I have a lot of fight in me. It wasn't that I was like, oh, I'm gonna die, so let me just not even try. I just figured, I mean, based on the amount of blood that I was seeing, the amount of damage, I didn't think I was going to die. I didn't think there was any chance of survival. I was losing blood very rapidly. Even after I'd pinched off the main artery, I was still losing blood from all the other veins and everything. So it was just, I just didn't think there was any possible way. So like, there definitely was fight in me, but the fight was mostly, I'm going to stay alive long enough to not die in trash. I did not think there was a chance that I would survive until we got further into the call and I began to kind of assess that maybe they were expecting that if they got to me, they could save me. Even towards the end though, once like I got to the end of the call, I had lost so much blood, I started to kind of get delirious. I was talking nonsense. I was answering questions with non-gibberish. I mean, my sentences were making sense, but not as an answer to what they were asking me. I was just answering random stuff. They were asking me how many police were there, and I was telling them that I was in a bailing machine. So, I mean, at that point, I had no idea what was going on anymore. I had lost so much blood and therefore had a lack of oxygen. It was, it had just gotten to be a little too much, I guess, for my body to keep up with. And at that point, it was like moment to moment to moment. And that's where you kind of start to hear a little bit of the panic come back in, because I wasn't able to keep like that thought of like end game. It wasn't able to stay in my mind anymore. So at that point, I was just reacting based on what was happening right in front of me. Finally, the police showed up. Hey, there's cops. I asked for an ambulance. Why is there a cop? Oh my gosh, I must be going to jail. Things started to just pile up. What was my reaction when I realized my foot couldn't be reattached? The actuality is, I never thought that it would be reattached. As soon as it was cut off, I figured, okay, I'm gonna have I'm gonna be an amputee. Like, it never even dawned on me that they could reattach it. So when they didn't reattach it, I wasn't in shock. Like, I just figured it. I will say this though, I went to the hospital with my foot and just a little bit of my shin gone, and when I came out of surgery, like I said, I have like 4 inches below the knee. That took me by surprise. Pulled back the sheet expecting to see a stump down by like my ankle, and I see a stump just below my knee. That was actually a little bit harder than the accident itself. It's raining right now where I am. My stump hurts when it rains. Does yours? I am so happy to see so many amputees on here. My bipod subscribers, I love you guys, and you mean a lot to me. But it does make me happy to see fellow amputees actually using my channel for what it's for. That makes me very happy. Yes, the funny thing is my stump does hurt sometimes. Not when it rains, but when it's about to rain. I can actually tell when it's gonna rain. Not all the time, but sometimes I can look at my coworkers or my friends or anybody, and just even like my family, I could be like, ooh, I think it's gonna rain soon. And how do you know? I can feel it in my stump. That's funny. I just kind of assumed that that was something to do with like the same way that older people, maybe with arthritis, they claim that they can feel it in their joints. I think it has something to do with the same basic thing. Tell us a joke. Tell us a joke. A snail bought an S-shaped car. Every time he drives by, I say, hey, look at that S car go. Your stump hurts when it's really cold. And with that being said, I don't want to, I know some people, like, obviously, One Leg Fangirl and myself, we refer to our residual limb as stumps. Other amputees find that very derogatory. They refer to it as a residual limb. I will use stump on my channel just because it's my channel and that's what I'm comfortable calling it. I don't mean to offend anybody. If you want to refer to your residual limb as a residual limb, that is totally your prerogative. But for this video and probably any future videos, I will be referring to it as the stump just because it's what I say. My stump does hurt when it gets cold too, which is very another kind of like thing that I think has to do with the same way that older people and their arthritis. I kind of think that it's the same way. How does that work? I think that's a question for that, which is what we were just already talking about. Total chaos. I recognize you from my last video as well. A&W says, I think it has to do with the air pressure. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I think when it gets cold or when it's about to rain or raining, the air pressure changes and you can feel it in your bones, and that just creates movement inside of the stump itself. I mean, that seems like it makes sense. I don't know too much about the way the weather works, but it's so consistent. So humidity, yeah. Ugh, I remember growing pains. That was not fun. Sign time. In Florida, we get very little cold, lots of high humidity and heat. For me, the worst part of being an amputee when it comes to that type of stuff is the amount of sweating that you will do. You can walk just to the mailbox and back and you'll sweat, and then that gets inside of your liner and causes you to slide around and you feel like you have no traction. I mean, you get used to it once you've been out for a couple of minutes and you start to build it up. You can get used to it and then you can adjust, and then after like 20 minutes you don't even notice it. But when I was in Georgia, I hiked miles and no issues whatsoever. Come back to Florida, just walk around the neighborhood and I feel like I'm in a super soaker. Henry Hunger. Glad I finally made contact with you. I followed you for a long time, learned much from you. I'm involved with the support group here and produced our first Amp Fest. Wow, well, cool. I'm glad that you're here. That's awesome. Good job. Produced the first Amp Fest. Rainstock. Sorry if this brings back memories. What is a baler? So yeah, so there's another question. What is a baler? A baler, as I was saying earlier in this video, it's just a giant trash compactor. In my situation, numerous types of balers out there, but for me it was a cardboard baler. Compacts the cardboard into tight bales. Your mom helped you a lot after your accident. John Peach 195. Do you still live with her? No, I don't live with my mom anymore. I have a baby face, but I'm actually pushing 30. You would never know that though. We never discussed that. I'm still very young. My phone battery is almost dead. Jane Doe. Sure, charge your phone, come back. Hope to see you back. But no, let's see. I don't have a Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, no Snapchat or any social media besides YouTube. That's what you're saying. John Peach. Yeah, my mom did help me a lot. I had a lot of support from a lot of people, friends, family, just a lot of people came to my not even necessarily just to my aid, but even calling me on the phone just to talk to me, hitting me up on Facebook. But yeah, my mom was definitely a big help as well. She would ride the nurses to make sure that they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. She was constantly on workers' comp to make sure that they were covering everything they needed to cover. I actually didn't even live with her at the time of my accident. I was living on my own, but when they released me from the hospital, they told me I had to go back to her house, well, her and my dad. I had to go back. I couldn't go back to living on my own, which irritated me because I had just moved out like a week earlier. I was 20 at the time of the accident, so I was like finally out, and then I was right back in. But it wasn't the worst thing that could have happened to me, having to stay with them again. I honestly, I don't think I would have been okay if I had gone back to my own apartment, because I had so many doctor's appointments and I couldn't drive because I was high on all the pain pills that they gave me. I got off the pain pills relatively quickly, but for that first month, it was just a blur. So it was definitely beneficial to have been sent home. and back to their house. I just realized I named this video Q&A answer session, which is redundant because that's question and answer session. So I'm gonna have to go back and take the answer out of the title later. By sheer coincidence, I got an amputee burp. I didn't realize that until a week later when I went to check his nails. That's interesting. I've actually wanted an amputee dog for a while. I've wanted a three-legged dog for a while, but as crazy as that sounds, they're very hard to come by. Like I've found literally one, and it was somebody's already. It wasn't even like up for adoption. It's been a few years. Would you say you've adjusted well? Total chaos. I have adjusted extremely well. I still have my days, absolutely. I still have my weeks sometimes where I just get into a complete funk, but physically and mentally, I feel like I've adjusted better physically than mentally. I will say a lot of times what you guys see is what I want you to see. Sometimes when I disappear and don't put up videos for a month or two at a time, it's because I'm not in a place where I want to be on video. I'm not in a place where I would be beneficial to you guys, nor would me putting videos out there in that time be beneficial to me. But for the most part, I have adjusted mentally. Physically, I've definitely adjusted. I can do anything that I used to be able to do, with the exception of like squatting is a little difficult because I just don't have the bending of the knee as well as I used to with all these layers on the prosthetic. But everything else, I can run, I can walk, I can rock climb, I went kayaking, hiking, biking, you know, you name it, I can do it again. So I've definitely adjusted well. How did I stop the pain pills so easily? I didn't like being on them anymore. I couldn't drive, I couldn't function. My friends would talk to me, I'd have no idea what we were talking about even 20 minutes later. It was horrible. And so I just pretty much stopped them all cold turkey, and I was very adamant that I didn't need them, and everybody was like, you can't just come off of oxycodone, Percocets, things like that, but I did. And I was like, what is it gonna do, kill me? Like, I'm practically dead now anyways. I was in a dark place for that first month, but once I was off of them, it was like I was like a whole nother person. I was back to my old self. I almost feel like I didn't start healing mentally until I was off the medicine. So, what you drinking? What am I drinking? I am drinking Monster. This is not a paid product endorsement. If you're interested, we would love you to be involved. I'm in no, you can see a best video on the channel, Cajun Science. You are so right. Without my friends' support, it would be impossible. Henry Hunger, I will check that out later. Absolutely, that's something I would be very interested in. I will make a note of that. Cajun Science, we will definitely communicate later about that for sure. I am a part of the Amputee Coalition. I'm not a peer visitor anymore, but in the very beginning, I was doing peer counseling very briefly. I don't really think that, I don't remember exactly actually. I'm still a part of the coalition, but I haven't been to a conference since 2011. That was the last time I went to a conference, which was awesome. I really want to go to another one. They never coincide with my schedule. But I loved being at the conference. It was an amazing, and it happened like 11 months after my accident, so it fell into place right when I needed it to, because it gave me the push to just keep going, to be around all the other amputees, to learn the last bits of things that I needed to learn. So that was a very lucky coincidence that it fell right when it fell. Birthday is more common than dog. I was in a wheelchair for just the first, I mean, off and on for the first 10 weeks, but I was on crutches more than my wheelchair. I was in the wheelchair straight for like a month. Then I kind of moved back to crutches, but I would still use the wheelchair. But I preferred the crutches because I had more mobility, but and maneuverability. But the wheelchair was just easier. Like the crutches, I didn't have all the strength that I needed yet. So like the crutches, I felt like I could move quicker, but it was just more work, more strenuous. But I was on crutches within the first like 6 weeks tops, and the wheelchair was just there if I was being lazy. Um, least favorite part about my leg is layers of socks. Yeah, see, I don't mind the prosthetic itself, but it's I have the silicone liner, and I have a 5-ply, a 3-ply, and a half-ply. Then I have my outer sleeve because I use a suction prosthetic, not a pin lock. So I have so many layers on my knee area. I can't hardly bend my knee. So on a completely unrelated note, you're so handsome. Thanks for being. Thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate it. I'm a Blueberry. Hey there. Good to see you again. Total chaos. You're not an amputee. You're an orthopedic patient awaiting surgery. Yeah, see, and I'm not talking bad about anybody who's on pain pills or any form of narcotic, because sometimes it's completely necessary. Like for me, that first month, I needed to be on pills, but I just hated how I felt. I hated that I couldn't drive, that I was in a daze. I slept almost the entire day, every day. It was just, I needed to come off of them. And coming off of them is what helped me really, truly start to heal and move forward with my healing process. I'm a Blueberry. It is currently 7:49, and yes, the crickets are crazy, but I have an acre of property, a little over an acre, and a good chunk of it is some like wooded area, and then we got a private lake behind, like kind of behind and in the woods, and the crickets just are all around that whole area. Well, Henry, that makes me feel really good to know that watching my channel, watching my videos helped you. That's exactly why I started making these videos in the first place. I mean, the very first video I put out there was for me, to help me get over not wanting people to see my prosthetic. But the response that I got was overwhelming from amputees and just other people, period. But from amputees saying that like they wanted more videos, and I started making these videos and making it a regular thing for amputees. So to have somebody specifically say that I helped them is amazing and makes this whole thing worth it. So thank you for letting me know that. Sunquest, yes. Josh, his channel is very unique, and can't compete. We're on we're two different types of channels though, thankfully, because I don't have to compete with him. What's the best way to talk to someone who is down and suffering from an amputation or serious injury? That's a great question, Bruno. Thank you for asking that. The best way to talk to somebody who is down, suffering from an amputation or serious injury, just talk to them like a regular human being. I did not want sympathy. I did not want people to be there for me. Like, I wanted to know that they were there for me, but I wanted them in person to just be there with me, not for me. My friends came over. I didn't want them to come over to sit on the couch and go get me a drink or a snack. I wanted them to come over so that we could get in the wheelchair and go out to the mall. I wanted them to come over so we could go swimming in the pool. I wanted to go back to life. And, you know, I didn't want to just survive or have survived. I wanted to live. So when my friends would come over, you wouldn't even know that they were there because I had gotten injured. You would know that they were there because they were my friends. I mean, we would order pizzas, we would go out, I would be in a wheelchair, but we'd go to the outlets, we'd go to iDrive, which is a very local tourist destination. It's a massive tourist trap, but it's a love-hate type place. And we would go out there, and I mean, just having people there is it's just beneficial. So if you want to talk to somebody who's down, having just had some sort of injury, I would just talk to them, let them know that you're there for them if they need to talk. But other than that, I would just be there with them the same way you were there with them before their accident. And AWS, see, I I hated when people held the door for me. It took a while to get over the, like, okay, they're just being nice. But in my mind, it was like, why you gotta hold the door for me? Like, because I'm missing a leg? Like, you think that I'm some sort of, like, disabled person? Like, yeah, I am a disabled person. That's why he's holding the door for me. Don't be a jerk to him because he's trying to be nice. Yeah, and listening to people helps tremendously, exactly. Hey, you just came from the leg amputation accident video, so you just got scarred for life. How are those photos? You didn't look. Probably smart. There's total chaos. The photos weren't that bad. Maybe not for you. John Peach. Yes, I do have a partner. I'm actually married. How hard was it? Was it easy to find someone after an accident? Yes, because, okay, actually, let me answer that in two ways. Mentally, it was hard because I made it hard. I was convinced that nobody would want to be with an amputee. Nobody would want to be with a one-legged guy. But in reality, once I put myself out there, nobody cared. Like, I mean, I was fortunate enough that my amputation was a leg amputation and not an arm amputation. So what I mean by that is I could put on a pair of pants. I didn't have much of a limp. If I didn't tell you, you didn't know. So, I mean, it wasn't like I was showing up in a wheelchair, unable to do anything. Not that there would have been a problem with that, but I'm just saying, like, basically, I was convinced nobody would like me because I was missing a limb. But in reality, nobody even knew I was missing a limb until I told them. So it was all in my head. In reality, there wasn't any issues at all, really. In fact, I remember one of the first, either the psychiatrist or psychologist, because I had to see both. But one of them told me, like, one of the first things they said to me was, don't worry about, because I had said that I was concerned that my friends would treat me differently and that I would no longer have any luck with the ladies. And he said, don't worry about the ladies. Unless you make it an issue, it's not going to be an issue. And he was completely correct. Photos weren't that bad. Yeah, was. I accept the fact that it wouldn't come back to me. Okay. AW, when you accepted the fact that your leg wouldn't come back is when you stopped being angry at people. That's so true, because that's about how it was with me. Once I just admitted to myself that this was permanent, I was able to start accepting it, I guess is the way to look at it. And once I accepted it, I wasn't angry anymore. Total chaos, yeah. That's exactly what it was. It bothered me more than it bothered anyone else. Nobody cared. It's like they say in middle school, you're convinced everybody's looking at your shoes, but nobody cares about your shoes because everybody's busy worrying about their own. I was convinced everybody was going to have some sort of concern with me missing a limb, and nobody cared. I will say I did have a couple bad dating issues. I had one girl that told me she liked me better before I lost my leg. It was an ex that I was still kind of talking to at the time. And I had another girl I went out on a couple dates with, and she was all right at first, but then we went to, I think it was Chili's, but I can't remember. But either way, like, they had a risen eating, like, seating area in the middle. You had to go up a couple steps, and I was going up the steps slowly because I was on crutches. I didn't even have my prosthetic yet, and she turned around and yelled at me to hurry up because I was embarrassing her. We didn't go out on another date. Skylar, what is up? This is my man Skylar over here. Skylord. Alright, I got the question, why did I put my leg in instead of using a stick or something? So this goes hand in hand with what I had said in the beginning of this video. You obviously weren't here for that, so I'm not saying this in a negative way, but in the beginning of the video, I had explained that a lot of people assume that I just stuck my leg into the machine. but this was a gigantic horizontal baler with an entry port designed to go inside of the machine, and I was fully inside the machine, my whole body. I wasn't pushing the jam down with my limb. The machine was jammed to the point that I had locked it out, tagged it out, completely shut the machine down, and I was in there with cutting tools, physically breaking the jam when the machine turned itself on. My entire body was inside of the machine, and I pulled myself up and out of the way. Unfortunately, obviously, I didn't get my foot all the way up. AW, did you ever have anybody be interested in you as a curiosity? Yes, I had a guy named Frenchie, who apparently anybody in the amputee community might recognize this name. He reaches out to all of us at some point, apparently. Offered me $5,000 per video to do a series of 10 porn videos. Non-nude, all I had to do was rub oil or a mushed banana or just random stuff on my stump, and he would pay me $5,000 a video. And yes, I turned it down. Don't even bother trying to search for them because they're not out there. W2, welcome back. Luis, my head would look good on a stick? That's not very nice. Total chaos, you would have done it for that. See, what he said to me was the girls would most likely do their videos in bikinis or a bra and thong, but for guys, our main viewers would just be other guys, and they don't care about stuff like that. They're just going to be looking at the stump so I could be fully clothed. Whereas he said the girl models, their viewers are going to be mostly guys as well, and guys would care. So for the girls, I think that they were supposed to be getting paid a little bit more because they would be still not nude, but just in like virtually no clothes. I would have been fully dressed except my limb. But I was like, Frenchie, I'll have to get back to you on that one. And then I just kind of conveniently lost his number. The thing is though, okay, so when it comes to people, like, I've had people message me through YouTube, on my Facebook, back in the day when I still was on Instagram, asking me if I would talk to them because they had fetishes. And I might be in the minority here, this is the unpopular opinion, but it never really bothered me because I felt like everybody has some form of a fetish, even if it's not necessarily constituted as a fetish. For instance, some guys like blondes. They find blondes most attractive. Some guys like big boobs. Some guys like bubble butts. Some guys are into the girls that don't have any chest whatsoever. And some guys are into people missing limbs. Now, that is completely in a whole nother ballpark, and I get that, but at the same time, it is still kind of the same thing, though. Like, everybody has something that they find attractive. That just happens to be what they find attractive. Now, I know some amputees that get totally offended by that, and I can understand that. Like, don't talk to me just because I'm missing a limb. But at the same time, it was like, I just got it. I understood it. Like, some people find me attractive because they like my eyes. He found me attractive because he liked my leg. She found me attractive because she wanted to see my stump. The biggest issue would be just how they would come out with, like, how they would go about it. Like, they would just, some people were just really brash. Some people would lie and they would pretend like they were writing research papers just so that they could talk to you about it. Just come out. Just say, hey, I think you're hot. It's because of your limb. How are you? I will shoot you down, but at least think, thank you for not beating around the bush. Oh, see, you just said that, how they reached out to you. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. There's some rude people out there, but I find children are concerned. Yeah, children ask me all the time. Well, they don't ask me. I hear them asking their parents, is that a robot? And that always cracks me up. I've had a couple kids ask me what happened, and I always tell them I didn't eat my vegetables growing up, and then they look like, and then I can just imagine that they go home and eat all their broccoli. I've had somebody ask me what happened to my leg, and I said, oh, I didn't keep my room cleaned, so I lost my leg in the mess. I don't know, anything to help the parent out. Here comes that boy. Hi. Hi. Only way that you can get through life is if you can find humor in your conditions. Otherwise, you're just gonna be an angry, mean person. I've had a kid straight up ask me if I got bit by a shark, and when I said no, they didn't believe me. I had a kid tell me that I was clearly a motorcycle cop. I wasn't in a motorcycle accident. I was a motorcycle cop. And when I asked why was I a motorcycle cop, they said because I lost my leg. And I was like, then that means I'm a motorcycle cop? And they were like, yes, because that's how that works, I guess, in a 5-year-old's mind. Caitlin, I did answer that already, but I'll answer it again. Do I currently have pain? Do I suffer from any PTSD? And do I ever meditate? Well, actually, I only partially read your question before I said that. I've only answered the first part. Do I have pain? Yes, I still to this day have phantom pain. Do I suffer from any PTSD? Yes and no. On a general daily basis, no, I really don't. But then there are times where I'll just have a bad day. Certain things will get to me. I mentioned earlier the song We Jammin' was the song that was playing at the time of my accident. Sometimes the song comes on and I just laugh. Other times it gets me into my feelings. I use a baler every day at work. Not the same type of baler, but it is still a baler. Sometimes I use the baler, actually most times I use the baler perfectly fine. Other times I won't use it because I just don't want to. Like I just don't want to. I mean, sometimes I think my PTSD is more in the form of onset depression. That doesn't affect me all the time every day, but it is always there. It's always just under the surface. Um, like even when I'm smiling, it's like sad inside, if that makes sense. Um, do I ever meditate? I don't meditate as much as I should, nor as much as I used to. I did used to meditate though. Uh, mm, yeah, no, I don't. I was gonna say I do meditate a little bit still, but it's just so infrequent at this point. I really need to get back to doing that again. Um, I once read something about this guy who had one leg. Every Halloween, he would come up with clever costumes. See, I'm too lazy. I don't come up with clever costumes. I just do pirate every year because it's a simple go-to that's obvious. Um, and it still gets a laugh every year. But like this year, like I legit made a peg leg out of a chair leg, and I bolted it on, and I literally walked around with a pirate peg leg, and that was pretty badass. Kids will ask about it, and then their mom will get super upset with them. Yeah, I swear the parents get more upset with the kids asking questions than I do. Like, I'm like, it's cool. Your kid doesn't know any better than to just walk up to people, and that means that they're doing it in an innocent way. They're not doing it to be little snots. They're learning. So, even when an adult asks me, I don't really mind. It just depends on how they go about it. But with a kid, I don't really care at all. In fact, a lot of times I'll tell the kid, it sounds really like pervy, but I'll be like, you come over here, you can touch it. Like, look, it's fine. I'll knock on it a little bit, and they'll like touch it. But Chaos, thank you very much for being with us tonight. I've seen you now in a couple videos, so I hope I see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your shift at work. I know that's always fun. What age did I lose my virginity? It was actually last week. It was quite depressing. I made it almost to 30. No, I was actually younger. I was like 16. Alex, who are you and what do you do? My name is Johnny, and I currently load and unload trucks for a very big grocery chain in the southeast United States. I work a loading dock. So that's who I am and what I do. Oh, and I do YouTube occasionally. And I'm on here because I'm missing a leg. So that's my claim to fame. I gotta go eat dinner. I hope this is still on when I'm back. AW, thank you for being here and for contributing as much as you have. Enjoy your dinner. And I'm glad that you found the 911 call. I never had any intentions or even dreamed that YouTube would recommend my video, but nonetheless multiple videos. But I have so many of my videos that people comment it was in the recommended, and so that's kind of cool. Of course, it annoys some people. I get the comment like, "Why was this in my recommended?" And for those people, I'm sorry, I have no idea. I'm just a regular guy from Orlando, but it is still kind of cool as a regular guy from Orlando to put a video out there and have it end up getting recommended to like hundreds of thousands of people. So, yeah. We haven't held up the sign in a while. I forgot. All right, here we go. Boom. You know, y'all are probably laughing, but I did this on my last live video and I got 19 new followers. So, boom. You know who's missing from this live feed? My mother. She's been on all of my live feeds so far. You know what? I have a Twitter too, but I do not use it at all and like literally never have. I don't even know why I have it. I made it back in like 2008 or 9 and have never used it. If you guys keep wondering what I'm looking at, I'm recording from up here, right here, but I have the comments are on the laptop, which is right here. So I'm reading and then looking and then reading and then looking. My mother is subscribed to me and has notification bell turned on, so she should know that this feed is live, but I can't get a hold of her because in order to text her, I'd have to stop the live feed because I'm streaming it through my phone. So I guess she's too busy for me. We banter a lot. She said she was gonna be here tonight. It's probably because I'm wearing the beater. She didn't want to be here with her son wearing the beater. I get it. Yeah, see, last time I just had the comments directly on the phone, but it was scrolling, like the screen is this big, and so I could only see like 2 comments at a time. I knew if I kept the comments going on the other, like on the computer separately, I would be able to see a lot more. Like right now I can see 16 comments at once. So even when new ones keep coming in. Oh, listen. Hold on. I love that. It makes me feel like I'm back. I don't even know. It makes that's gonna sound stupid. So let me just stop. But when I can hear the train rolling through, I love it. It's off. Like the train tracks are like a mile and a half away. But because we live on a lake, the water just carries the sound. It's one of my favorite things, is to hear the train off in the distance, especially at night. Hear the call of the midnight train. You live 2 blocks away from the train. When I lived in Jersey, the train went right behind my apartment, so close that if I stood on the fire escape and stuck a broom out, I could smack the train as it went by. And I was convinced I would never be able to fall asleep, like when I first moved there, because the train would go through like every 15 minutes. But A, it stops running at like 3 in the morning and doesn't come on again until 6 in the morning, so there's that 3-hour break. Not that that really matters, but B, somehow, like once I was asleep, I just slept right through it. It never once woke me up. As far as this train, no, it doesn't wake me up. I can hear it inside, like I'm on my back porch right now, and so that's why it's so loud, but even inside, I can hear it. But it's not loud enough to wake me up. But like when I'm lying in bed, like half asleep, or if I'm just sitting on the couch watching TV, but I can hear it. I particularly love when I'm lying in bed half asleep, especially when it's like raining outside and I can hear the rain, hear the crickets, and then hear the train off in the distance. Like, that's the... I mean, I know there's trains in the north. This is going to be a stupid thing to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. This makes me really feel like I'm in the south. Like, hearing the train rumbling off in the distance with the crickets and the cicadas and the gators, you can't hear them yet. They'll come out in another hour or two, but you can literally hear the gators doing their gator grunts. Okay, so that was me. I did go through the police academy. I didn't do the entire academy though. Too much politics involved. It wasn't what it. I was a police explorer growing up. I was literally a sergeant for the Seminole County Sheriff's Department Police Explorers. I was on the pistol team. I have trophies. I mean, I was a very good shot. I still am. Actually, before I turned this live feed on, I was in my backyard shooting at a milk jug that I filled with water. That's perks of living in the rural area with woods. I was just shooting in my backyard. I'm still a good shot, and but I was on the pistol team at 16 years old, and I have trophies from competition. I wanted to be a cop. I went to the police explorers. I mean, not the police explorers. I went to the police academy, did my I can't think of what it's called, but like my prerequisites. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like the thing that I had to do to show that I was physically met the requirements, which no one else had to do. I only had to do because I was missing a leg. They made me do, everybody else just had to do it to graduate at the end of the academy. I had to do it before they'd even accept me into the academy, just to prove I wasn't going to fill up a spot and take that spot from somebody else and then not even be able to do it, which I felt was a little discriminatory, but I didn't care. I flew through it with flying colors. Literally ran circles around some of the other candidates. Too many politics though. If you don't know somebody, there's no point. I could have graduated top of my class and it wouldn't have mattered. If you don't have prior military experience or know somebody, it doesn't matter. And so yeah, I pursued a different path. But with that being said, I'm not back at my original job. I am still working the same, sort of the same type of job. I mean, it's not a recycling plant, but I'm still doing physical labor. I load and unload trucks for a grocery store now, a big grocery chain, and I do use a baler every day. After I unload the truck, I break the truck down, and then I'm the one that throws all the boxes into the baler. But it's not the same company or anything. Do I like pen? Do you like pens? Somewhat. I would never, yes, we'll just say yes. Well, you don't want to be with the group that's like that then anyway, the police thing. Yeah, it was a disappointment because that was a goal of mine, but partially I think it was more just to prove to myself that I could still do it. So I know I could still do it. I'm in better shape, and I don't mean this in a bragging way, but I'm in better shape than half the people in that academy. I just didn't ride a bike for 3 years. Hopped on a bike just a couple Fridays ago and rode 50 miles. Hadn't ridden a bike in 3 years. I'm in very good shape. So as much of a disappointment as it was, I'm not as disappointed as you might imagine, because I'm just glad that I'm still able to do it, which is, I think it was more the idea of being a cop, just to show that I could, as opposed to actually wanting to be a cop, which is probably good then, because let's leave it for somebody who actually has that desire. Although, I mean, I do want to be a cop, and did want to be a cop, but I just think it was for the wrong reasons. I guess that's the way I should put it. I want to say that I was around 2015 was when I see the mouse around then. You remember president want to make me a cop. Let's see. I went through that whole process in late 2013, early 2014 was when I was doing all that. I started it briefly in 2012 and took a break and then went right back again. You got a really good personality. Well, thank you. I try to have a good personality. I figure what I'm missing, what I lack in legs, I can make up for in personality. What's that Tinder profile that went viral? It was face 10-10, body 10-10, legs 1 out of 2. Oh, I cracked myself up. I hope you mean thirsty, as in literally thirsty. Do you like Swagger Souls? That I've never heard of. Now I'm gonna have to look them up though. Caitlin, I'll never forget the 911 call. I was so happy when they located you finally. I know, right? We're coming as fast as we can, sir. Actually, in all seriousness, I'm still friends with all of them to this day. Um, I'm closer to Chris Barrett, which was the responding officer, than I am to Jeff or the original lady who answered the phone, whose name was Carol. But I mean, I still am, you know, friends with all of them. But me and Chris are much closer. I just talked to Chris just a couple days ago, actually. He's no longer in the police department. He's moved way up north, and he does farm work now. Much happier. But yeah, no, I was very happy when they finally located me too. You're King 11. Yes, I am the guy who amputated my feet. However, it was a foot, not feet. I was too tall, so I took off a foot. You're King. I'm doing good so far. Like I was saying, I have some days where, you know, it's a little lower than other days, but for the most part, in general, I'm doing really good. Physically, very, very good. Mentally, pretty good. Um, you're perfectly fine. No, you're fine. It always impresses me when people who don't speak English as a first language can even communicate English at all, because there's so many of us English speakers who can barely speak English. And then we have people from other countries who speak English as a second language, and they speak it almost perfectly and yet apologize because they don't think they're speaking it perfect or well enough. Dalton, where do you work? I work I work for a massive grocery retailer in the southeast. I load and unload the trucks. Well, see, I just messed up my speaking right now, so that's my point. Ozzy Osbourne. This one gnat will not leave me alone. It really wants to be a part of this video. He wants to be on YouTube, apparently. Did people help you or send support in any ways after that video? I got a lot of messages from people, mostly telling me that I, in some way, helped them, which in turn helped me. Kill it with fire. I don't have fire. We don't mess around. Kill it with fire. Kill it with water. You're a king. I helped you. Well, see, that's good. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what makes me feel like what I'm doing is worth it. Not a monster. Oh, kill it with monster. My monster is empty. Maybe I'll kill it with my sign as I hold it up for everybody to see. Y'all are gonna get so tired of seeing this sign, because you know what? I'm gonna laminate it, and it's gonna make an appearance in every single video from this point on. Not even my live videos. I'm gonna carry it with me at all times. I'm gonna make a necklace out of it. Y'all are gonna learn to love this sign. W2, your friend messaged me, and I did not ignore them. I just haven't gotten back to them yet. But I mean to and meant to. Your friend wrote me and actually mentioned you by name. I'm going to get back to them. Ooh, I got him. I got him. I'll save that for later. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that weird. I mean, I am that weird, but not that weird. Look. Is that the real Johnny Crew9t? What do I do for entertainment? I like to, this is gonna make me sound pathetic, but I like to go to the bar, but not to get drunk. I just enjoy the atmosphere. I'll only have 1 or 2 beers. I just like going there for the people and the environment, but I like going to the bar. But no, in all reality, I love being outside. Perfect day for me. Going on the trail, working up a sweat, exploring nature, coming home from the trail, hit the shower just in time to go outside and get dirty again by, I don't know, swimming in the pool, which I guess wouldn't make you dirty, but it would make you full of chlorine, so you'd still have to shower again. Going on a walk, even just around the neighborhood. I would love to explore train tracks. Just pick a train track and just follow it and see where you go, where you end up. Call an Uber to take you back home when you're done. I'd love to just be outside. Just everything about it. And then, you know, of course, like the basic stuff. Like I love going to the movies, listening to music. I'm one of those weirdos who can just put on a CD and sit on the couch and just sit there and listen to a CD. What's your favorite classic metal band? Oh, I don't even know. This is gonna sound, I mean, I don't know if it's oh yeah, classic, not classical. Well, either way, I love Queen, which is gonna sound like, well, you're just saying that because their movie just came out, but I went to see the movie because of how much I love them. My physical work, yes, I constantly have to make adjustments to my leg. I'll go into the bathroom and just literally fiddle with my leg. Thankfully, I don't have to add socks very often, but I just have to kind of like fiddle with it. But how did your family react after the accident? You know what? We're doing this. I have a citronella candle, and we're doing this because I'm tired of these bugs. How did your family react? They were very happy to have me, of course. I mean, they were devastated for me, but they were happy to have me alive still, and very supportive of me. Queen is very good, yes. Oh, okay, Slayer's pretty good. I like Slayer. I know them. They're good. And my parents, they're very good. Good set of parents. Even though my mom bailed, she's supposed to be on this live stream right now. I don't know where she is. See how well that did the trick? All the bugs are just gone now. You know, this is gonna make me sound so lame, but I like dubstep. Like, I know it's kind of gone out of the mainstream lately, but at least it seems like it. But I love dubstep. Um, in fact, I will hear a song on the radio and I will purposely go to Google and immediately try to find the dubstep version of it, because there's always somebody who made a dubstep version of pretty much any song. You could find, like, this is really stupid, but one of my favorite things on YouTube was the Little Einstein's theme song dubstep remix. I love it. Maybe she's bike riding on her own path again. I'm gonna look that video up, or your song up. Do you believe in God? Yes, I do believe in God. On my Facebook page, I actually have made a habit every Sunday. Nah, I don't want to lie. I've missed a few Sundays, but almost every Sunday I put out a post relating to my religion, and a lot of people don't. I've gotten some messages from people. I follow you because you're an amputee, not to get preached to. I don't preach. I just put up a post. It's just a post. I put up a picture of me at the beach, walking at sunrise, from back when I first lost my leg, and I just wrote a little quote. It was just biblical quote, but I wrote a quote. That didn't go over well, but it's my Facebook and it's my beliefs and it's my platform, and so I use it. And I'm one of those people that I don't care if you do or don't believe in anything. If you don't believe in anything, I'm not going to look at you any differently, and I would expect that you don't look at me differently. If you do believe in something, but it's different than what I believe in, it doesn't bother me. Some of my closest friends are atheists. My uncle is a devout Muslim. My best friend growing up was Jewish. Perfectly fine with me. You're king, thank you for being here. You were fine. Your grammar was perfect. I appreciate you being here. Anna, just saw you, or Anna. Thank you for joining us. I am from Orlando, Florida, Sunshine State, sunny Orlando. Taylor, do you know the song Crave You? Yes, I do. I'm pretty sure I do. In current standing, your 911 video is on my recommended videos. Such a calm and collected human. Try finding me on Facebook just to make sure you're okay. Yes, you tried finding me on Facebook. Guess where you can find me on Facebook? Right here. Ha 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 ha. I told you, you guys are gonna love and hate this sign. In current standing, thank you for the compliments, though. I appreciate it. I'm very glad I came out alive and okay as well. That sign is going to be with me forever until the very end. I am going to laminate this, and this is going to be in every single video from this point on. When you're old, put it in a frame. I have a pancake in a frame on my wall. I'm not even lying. I'm weird. What can I say? It's a real pancake too, like legit, like poured the batter, cooked it in a frying pan. Yes, I will post a picture of it to my Facebook, and nobody will have any idea why I'm posting a picture, because I won't write any context. I won't say anything. I'll just post a picture of the pancake. It's shaped like a duck. But y'all will understand what it is, and you can comment on it, and everybody else will be super confused. Like, why? I don't even know what animal that was. Y'all heard that, right? That was not my mom. That came from the woods. I have never heard that before. We have a bobcat that was in our backyard just like a couple weeks ago, no, like a couple days ago, and black bears and gators, but that was a new sound. Hey, I'm packing. I got my... Okay, I'm not even joking. There's an animal in my backyard right now. I can hear it walking. I got my 40 on me, but I mean, I'm not gonna shoot an animal. I'm just saying though. Holy crap, there is something right outside of my screen. It's not my mom. Yo! What the hell? I'm trying to film. It's the rake. Shut the hell up. It is not the rake. It was me. Whatever. We're just gonna keep on going. We're gonna act like we didn't hear anything. We'll act like there ain't nothing going on out there. No, I can't face the camera towards it because I'll show you why. How do I rotate this screen? Well, I can't rotate the screen, but the camera, I mean the screen, you can't really see through it, so it wouldn't do me any good. Yes, Florida does have the skunk ape, otherwise known as the Sasquatch, but that's in the Ocala National Forest, and I am dead serious. I went camping in the Ocala National Forest, and I swear to you, I felt something watching me. And I left. I didn't stay the night. It was the damn skunk ape. I swear to you, I kid you not. All right, let's go take a trip. Everybody wants to see what this noise is, and I kind of want to see what the noise is too. Whoever said it's the rake, you're killing me. So, I mean, you can't see anything. It's too dark. It's way too dark out here. Bring a flashlight. That's smart. Why didn't I think of that? I don't have a flashlight though. Oh well. I could trigger my motion lights. It's black right now because I'm exploring in the wilderness of my backyard. Hold on though, I'm gonna get my motion lights to come on. There's the motion lights. Huh, that didn't do anything. Huh. Alright, we're back. I just wanted to turn my motion lights on, make sure there was nothing there. Okay. How to Die 101. Bring a flashlight if you're bring an old-fashioned torch or smile. How to Die 101. OMG. Y'all are lit right now. Like, I'm not even joking. That was definitely a noise, but I don't know what it was. Alright, you better not stream while I'm at school. I'd like to get here as many times as I can. You're amazing. I streamed a video a couple Fridays ago, and somebody was watching it from their gym class, and it was hilarious because I didn't want them to get in trouble, but I was also cracking up at the fact that they were watching me at gym. Alright, guys. We're at an hour and 25 minutes. I think I'm going to go for maybe 5 more minutes to make this a full 90-minute video. And then I'm going to go ahead and end tonight's stream. But, I will continue posting regularly. And I think maybe we could make this a relatively regular thing. Maybe not every Friday, because I don't necessarily know what my schedule will be every Friday. But maybe once every other week we'll do a live stream. Tax. I have thought about making a book. In fact, I've been approached by somebody who wanted to ghostwrite it with me and for me, and I've thought very hard about it. It's something that I'm still debating on possibly doing. Not that I think my story is so amazing that I was like, I should write a book about it, but at the same time, yes, it has definitely crossed my mind. Bridget, your comment popped up and now it's gone. Oh, there it is. Bridget, are you a Christian? How to share your faith? Yes, I actually was just answering that not that long ago. I am a Christian. I definitely use my platform to spread my faith a little bit, but at the same time, I know that that's not what everybody is here for, and so I don't do it daily, nor do I push it down anybody's throat. But on Sundays on my Facebook, I do have a tendency to post a Christian-related thing. I have slacked off the last couple Sundays, but I was doing it quite regularly for quite some time. If you're okay, well, that might be enough to get me to actually check out my Twitter, since I have it but have never used it. Anna, you were my excuse to not move. Now I have to be productive when you leave. Well, I'm sorry. I have to be productive too. I have to go to the store. So that's one of the reasons I have to go. This actually went about 30 minutes longer than I was thinking it was going to. Henry, you can always message me directly on YouTube. Also, my YouTube channel has an email link, and you're more than welcome to email me. I do respond to my emails, and I respond to them. Actually, YouTube just got rid of the private message feature, but yes, my email, crew9t@gmail.com. I get a lot of emails on there regularly, so you can always email me there. And like I have slacked the last month or so on replying to my comments, but I normally reply to every single comment I get, and I also normally reply to every email I get. I have slacked off this last little while just because it's been getting really busy with everything going on, but I need to just purge my current comments, go through and reply to as many as I can, and then just start fresh and keep up with it from here on like I usually do. Bridget said, "The story touched me. Showed my boyfriend your videos, and you really had us close to, if not in tears." Well, all the smoke just blew in my face. I'm sorry that you guys were in tears. I appreciate the sentiment, though. There's no reason to be sad. I'm doing fine now. It does mean a lot that you guys cared so much, though. That's really good feeling. I'm glad that you shared my video with your boyfriend. My videos with your boyfriend. I don't consider myself an inspiration, but it does make me feel good to know that whether I consider myself one or not, I do ultimately inspire people. So y'all definitely heard that. All right, One Leg Fangirl. Yeah, I will remember all your guys' names. Faith that had us emotional, it's so strong. Bridget will see, that's the thing. My faith actually, everybody's like, how did you not lose your faith? Well, I feel like my faith got stronger, to be honest. But See, I can also hear my neighbor talking. She's in her driveway. So that's that. That's not what I'm listening to. What I'm listening to is not behind me. What I can hear is in front of me, just out in the backyard. And what you don't know is the motion lights that I set off, they turned off again, but now they came back on again. It's probably something simple like just a cat or something, but that first sound I heard, I've never heard a sound like that before. It almost sounded like a combination of like like a whimper slash a zipper sound all at once. I it stopped me in my mid sentence. I've never heard that animal sound in my life, but it was definitely an animal sound. And we've had a bear in our backyard. We've had a bobcat. We've had gators. Not really scared of any of that, but just when I hear something I don't know what it is, you know. There are people that live in the woods and homeless people, which isn't in itself a bad thing, but when they do occasionally come over the out of the tree line and into your, like, I mean, it's all my property. I own the entire land all the way down to the lake, but I don't care if it's in my property, like in the trees. But once you come into the actual yard, that's where I'll maybe have a little bit of an issue. So sometimes if I hear a noise that I don't know what it is, that could be a possibility, which I do stay aware of. But it's not the rake. Train hobos. Maybe. No, we don't even talk about skinwalkers at all. We don't talk about skinwalkers. We don't even. We're done. Okay, this whole thread just took a way different turn than it needed to. I am outside. Let's. And I have seen one before, so yes. A very close encounter with one. Not in my backyard, but yes. I'll take Slender Man over a skinwalker. Alright, guys, for real. Um, right by my screen door. Right by my screen door. Y'all are talking about skinwalkers and you're freaking bringing one down on me. What am I most afraid of in life? Skinwalkers. What am I most afraid of in life? Dying alone. I don't mean like not having any loved ones. I mean literally physically being alone when I die. Like if I get shot and left in a parking lot, or if I had died in the trash compactor when no one was around. Um, I mean physically being alone at the moment of my death. Skinwalkers go back to ancient Navajo tradition. Um, they can take different shapes, a lot of times in the form of a slightly off dog. They'll look like a dog, but just something's wrong with them. Kind of like a mutilated coyote. Um, a lot of times they take that shape. They can take a lot of shapes though, but they tend to manifest. The more you talk about them, the more likely that they are to appear. Do some Google searches on Skinwalker Ranch. It's an actual place that I do plan on visiting not that far from now. I want to do it sometime early next year, and I do plan on taking you guys with me. Maggie, Jeff the dispatcher did not get flowers, but I went to him and his wife's 25th anniversary, and I gave him and her both a very nice gift and a card. So he did get his card, and he got a gift, although not flowers. I had my last house was haunted, and I had a private apartment that was attached to the house, like, but it was attached but separate entirely, its own entrance, its own water meter, power unit, everything. And I used to rent it out to, I was the landlord over it, and I would rent it out to a tenant. And before that, I would put it up for rent and somebody moved in, I always felt like the place was haunted. And then after they moved in, I would notice that the girl was never home. She was always staying at her boyfriend's house. And one day my niece came over and she insisted that there was a weird shadow man standing on the porch, and she would not get out of the car. She said it looked like an evil shadow man. Flash forward a couple of months later, my tenant moved out, and so I messaged her on Facebook and asked her if she had any experiences there. And she said that she used to always see this weird evil presence that looked like a shadow man, and it used to stand on her porch and stare at her, and sometimes it would be in her living room. So that's exactly what my niece described. I never saw it personally, but I would feel it. The day I moved out of that house, I did one last walkthrough of the property, and it physically pushed me. I physically felt a hand shove me in my back, and I, no joke, literally ran out of the house into my car, and I kind of dove into my car through the hatchback, which was opened, and I felt it grab my leg. We put the car, I closed the hatchback, and we left, and I hired a painter to come out and paint the property a couple of weeks later. That was the last thing we were doing before it went up for sale. The painter called me one night and said that would it be okay if he kept a crew there with him at night when he was painting, because he painted it overnight. He worked for a company during the day, but then he would do his side jobs at night. He asked if it was okay if he brought other people into the house, and I was like, yeah, but why? Just curious. He said he was scared to be there alone because he felt an evil presence in the house, and he didn't like being there alone. Doors would shut on him, lights would turn off, and he would occasionally see what looked like a shadow that when he looked at it, it would disappear. Not even joking. You know, I did research on that house, and this is what's really creepy. All that I could find was that Wyatt Earp, as in like the old school gunslinger guy, he died on that street. But it was back in the day before there were houses there, so there was no street number. So I don't know where exactly on the street, but I almost wonder. I mean, that sounds so far-fetched. The ghost of Wyatt Earp haunted my old house, but I mean, he died on that street. So I don't know, but if it wasn't him, I highly doubt it, but it was something. I couldn't find anything specific about that house, though. See, now y'all got me looking out my screen, even though I can't see anything. This question and answer session took a dark turn. Alright, guys. we're gonna go ahead and wrap this stream up. I thank you all for coming out and being with me tonight. My email is crew9t@gmail.com. So, thank you guys for all being here. For those of you watching it live, thank you for being here. For those of you watching this video later on after it's been uploaded, I don't know what possessed you to watch a 100-minute video, but I appreciate it. One Leg Fangirl, thank you. You have a good night as well. W2, as always, very much happy to have you. Haley Loveday, bye Johnny from Austin. Goodbye, Haley. W2, you're gonna go back and see what you missed. Fura, yes, there will be another live stream. I think I'm gonna try to make this a regular thing. I'm gonna do every other week. It might not be on the same day every week. Some days it might be on a Friday, some days it's Wednesday or Thursday, but I'll always do what I did today, and I'll post a little notice in the beginning of the day on both my community tab and right here on YouTube, as well as on my Facebook page, stating that I'm going to be live that night and at what time. And we'll try to do this every other week. But in between those live streams, I am going to continue to make my regular weekly uploaded videos. I try to post at least once a week. Kind of been slacking on that a little bit lately, but I'm gonna try to keep them coming regularly. But yes, absolutely everybody, thank you guys for being subscribed. For those of you that have your notifications turned on, I appreciate it. It's amazing how many of you guys are a part of this thing that we have going here. But yeah, everybody, thank you guys for being here, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up now. It's been fun. I answered a lot of questions, had a lot of this conversation. I got bit by a bunch of mosquitoes. But alright guys, as always, is your boy Johnny, aka Crew9t, and until next time.